r/datingover40. Mel1234 says, feeling insecure about my size. I'm a bigger woman at 510 and 165 pounds, and it's really difficult to find matches who are bigger than me, and even when I do, I feel like they are often kind of thrown off when I show up to a first date and am much bigger than they thought. I've always listed my height on my profile, but they are still often shocked when they see me. It really makes me feel like I'm taking up too much space and not a cute petite kind of woman. Does anyone have experiences dating taller/bigger women, or as the woman trying to date? IDK how to feel confident in my body when I constantly feel too big. I've decided to try to lose about 10 pounds to get down to 155, but it's still a pretty good size, and I can't do anything about my height. Do guys even like tall women like that? Just feeling super insecure about it today in my prospects. Futuristic and says, 43 meters, 6 feet 0, and 175 pounds here. You sound like exactly my type. Don't mean to be creepy, just to push back against the ed up things dating at our age can make us conclude about ourselves. I can't imagine what it's like to live with all the toxic messaging about women's bodies, but I can confidently tell you there are men, like me, that will be attracted to you, and they don't have to be built like a Linebacker. You're not too big, and you don't take up too much space. You're a flesh and blood woman, a human, with a completely normal body trying to navigate dating, and a culture that sets us up to think we are ugly/broken/flawed. It's natural for your brain to tell you these things about yourself, but it's also not true. Inside Dance 41 says, I can't imagine what it's like to live with all the toxic messaging about women's bodies. Thank you. Here is a woman who is a healthy body weight, and she feels big. You sent a wonderful message. Diligent Career 1313 says, I'm a smidge under 6 feet, and about 160. I'm not thick, but I'm not super skinny either. Mostly I read as very tall and long-limbed, because I'm lol. Most men say to me, wow, you really are tall upon first meeting me, and one man told me he thought I was exaggerating my height, and kept trying to sneak looks at my shoes when he thought I wasn't looking. Meanwhile, another man told me that I look 6 feet 4 in one of my photos. All that said, most quickly get over it. I very briefly dated a man a couple inches shorter and he never mentioned my height, and when I asked him about it later, he said, why would I care about that? Take up space. Honestly, you seem pretty proportional in your measurements. And, for some men height is a big turn on. I've been asked on more than one occasion if I have ever been a dominatrix. Honestly, I'm considering it because I need to get a lot of yard work done lol. If your size is not for some, then they are not for you. Tex-Mex says, I'm a short man and I jaff. If we click we click. For me it all boils down to confidence and self-esteem for both. Be it a tall woman or short man, my height doesn't define me, never has and never should. You can't change it, so why care? Fly Your Flag 2020 says, 5 feet 10, 165 doesn't even sound big to me. I think for that height the weight sounds about where it should be. Now I'm not a guy that likes rail thin women either, so may just be my option, but those stats would be something I would be interested in. I'm also 6 feet 2, so I'm okay with taller women. r/datingover40. Puzzled Mall 2906 says, this is ridiculous. Okay, my birthday is coming up, and I think I'm having a little freak out about being alone. I have a great collection of friends, but I'm struggling with spending my birthday without a so. Things get better, right? I'm not totally checked out, but I'm starting to think maybe it's easier to be single than to go through the abuse of old. Frenchicky says, birthdays alone or single aren't bad at all. Had one of my best birthdays alone, Spent the day snowboarding solo for free on a weekday while people were at work. Got myself cake and sushi and other things I wanted. Didn't have to socialize at all while doing what I wanted to do. Maybe that's only enjoyable if you're a big time introvert like myself though. I'd love to find my person if there's one out there, but I'm content celebrating my days on my own with my Season Positive 6771 says, it's perfectly normal to be single. Don't let things like a birthday make you feel stressed out. Maybe you can focus on yourself in a way you normally can't if you're dating someone. Legalafit says, I'd rather be single on my birthday and have a fabulous day out with friends than be in a shitty relationship. Solo birthdays are great too. Have a full day alone doing amazing fun self-care things with no one's BS to deal with. Celebrate in peace. Borahi0613T says, there is nothing wrong about being single, let alone singe on your birthday. Celebrate you the way you want with the people you want and enjoy. Lala 5,789,880 says, my 46th is coming up and I'm the most single I've been in 15 years. But I'm okay with that because being single means I live on my terms. Parking Variation 715 says, I feel this in my bones. I'm 49 male, turning 50 in December, and I'm exhausted with old. Old has gotten me nowhere. I tried for a while, go on a few dates that seem to go nowhere, or on a few occasions have started dating someone and then get ghosted and step away for a while. At the same time, I recently dated someone I know IRL, and it ended up being a disaster. Starting to feel like spending time with my sons and friends is going to be my jam for a while. I'm just burned out on dating. It's demoralizing at times, but I'm trying my best to have a sense of humor about it. Manga Serpent says, I just had a birthday. It fell during the week, so the Saturday before a friend took me out to dinner. This weekend another friend is taking me out to a movie. The day before my birthday, I took the day off work. My work colleagues got me a cake and gave me a bottle of wine. The day of my birthday I got a mani-pedi and my mom and I went to a casual tapas restaurant. It was pretty nice. When I was married my ex-husband traveled, so I spent plenty of birthdays alone, even if I was not single, plus he sucked at celebrating birthdays and found it annoying. So being single on a birthday for me is no big deal. r/datingoverforty. Pomegranate Arc 624 says, ghosted again. This was a new low. I 47 female, had a first date recently with a man I met on Hinge. It was the best first date I'd been on so far. We both looked like our photos, had a great conversation and lots of common interests. At the end of the night we kissed goodbye for a long time. We were keen to see each other again, and agreed to meet up again in a few days. In the meantime we texted each other daily with flirty messages. The second date also went well, and ended at my place. I was a bit concerned we were moving too fast, but we both wanted it, so, anyway. He had some ed and only lasted a few seconds once he was in. I was okay with that, and we hugged and talked a bit after. Until he said he had to go. We agreed to see each other again the following week. But he stopped initiating texts, and his replies to mine were no longer flirty. The night before our planned catch up, I texted to confirm and he cancelled. Then he ghosted. I'm so hurt and disappointed. We'd got along really well, made each other laugh, and he'd been very affectionate with me. I hadn't found someone like this before. And now I feel I can't trust my judgment anymore. I've been ghosted countless times in chats, but this was the first time after 6. I guess I should have waited longer. Not sure how to deal with this constant ghosting, it's wearing me down. I've always tried to treat people with respect and kindness, but I don't get it back. Tarian Fantastic 812 says, 41 meters here. I'm not sure the ghosting is because of you. Perhaps the ed issue is a bit touchy for him, and maybe he's feeling embarrassed? Yaudont Naomi says. Seems from the posts here on the sub that most guys' go-to move if they have ed is ghosting rather than just offering to go down on you. Tuxedober12 says. I know it hurts. But it sounded like he got humiliated by the ed thing and didn't handle it maturely. Better to know if a guy reacts badly to what should be small bumps in the road now rather than later. This is why we date and take things slow, because people can present one way for a little while, but their approach to life and relationships reveals itself over longer periods. I'm sorry it's so hard. Dagger Shield says. We men are very touchy about that, but he really should have talked to you. I love a lamp 71 says. Are you me? I also had this exact thing happen recently, including it, only difference was 4 dates. I'm sorry this happened to you, and I'm unfortunately familiar with the disappointment. I wish had answers. How hard is it to say, even just via text, hey? I had a good time, but we are not a good fit, or whatever the hell. Especially after sex. People are assholes. Log Dog Day says. In a couple days, just be blunt, hey, I really enjoyed your company and would like to see you again. It's totally okay if you're not into me, that's dating, after all. That said, the courtesy of letting me know would be appreciated. Hope you're doing well. Cheers. Ghosting is often just being too cowardly/kind to hurt someone's feelings. Or maybe he's even rejecting himself before you can. Getting called out for ghosting and being given an easy out and still ghosting anyway. Well, frick him. All the easier to move on. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.